I'm back. Yeah, time for some reviews. In 2015, here we go. Ha ha. Hey, hey, hey. Maria, where's my pants?
Welcome back to Little Piece. I'm going to use it for the females, but it's perfect. Welcome back to Little TCLs to part 2 of the Thanos wave review from Hasbro Marvel Legends. Now we're going to take a look at Batroc from hometown here of Quebec City, Quebec, Montreal. He's a French guy, and he's Batroc the Leaper. I like this figure. I didn't think he was going to come out when they showed him 2 years ago at San Diego Comic-Con. Why I like this figure is I always have a thing for these throwback villains from back in the early comic book days of the 80s and 90s and 70s. And it's always cool to get a figure somebody never thought would get a figure of. And Batroc falls into that category. He looks exactly the way he was in the comic book. There are some little bit detailed differences on his costume, but I think that's to make it pop a little bit more and not make him look too era defiant, meaning that, you know, he completely looked like something that's thrown from, definitely something that comes from the 80s. They didn't want it to stand out that way. Excuse me. So his articulation is pretty much the same as the other Marvel Legends figures. He has a ball jointed head. His mustache, which I find really cool, I like it, is actually a separate plastic piece. He has ball jointed shoulders, swivel at the biceps, double elbows, swivel at the wrists, and swivel at the he has swivel at the wrist as well as wrist pivot. He has ab articulation, swivel at the waist, pretty much do the splits. He has upper thigh articulation, double jointed knees, swivel at the boot, and articulation at the ankle as well as a pivot, which is much needed for somebody like this. I'm glad it didn't skip out on any of the articulation for Batroc the Leaper, because it allows you to get him into these super high kick poses that is needed. Like, even when he likes to jump and stomp on Captain America's shield or try to fight Captain America. For those of you who didn't know, this is what he could have looked like in the Captain America cartoon, but I guess they tried to steer away from that. Sorry, not Captain America cartoon, Captain America movie. I guess they try to steer away from being too dated with his costume. This is the guy in Winter Soldier that Captain America fought on the boat. And this is how he was supposed to look like. But yeah, this is what technically he should have looked like. But the costume they had him in, it was as close as they can do to get it for live action as they wanted to. Seeing that he was the main villain for the whole movie, so they didn't make a big emphasis on that. Batroc here comes with the main part of Thanos, which is his body. So this is a figure that some may or may not like, but if you are building Thanos, you kind of need to get him because he has the main part that's going to connect all the other pieces that you've gotten so far for this figure. It actually comes in 2 separate pieces. It comes with his shoulder pads, come separate in the package to the body. When you get them, there's little pegs at the top shoulders. And there's there's peg holes at the top shoulder of the body, and the pegs are here in the shoulder pads. All you do is just fit it in there, and there you go. And it holds quite. That's to hold it in place. So when you do put the figure together, it doesn't move or twist around and stuff like that. Next up, we have Hellcat. Now, Hellcat is one of those figures that They really seem, I think they kind of seem like they rushed her. I say this because the paint app here after her knee, it changes. It's like they did all this in blue and decided to paint this upper part yellow, which really kind of throws it off. But seeing how she's not that big of an important character, because it's not much stories I can remember her in. It seems like they skipped all on that for a reason. The paint apps are even like just making her the best that she could possibly be, because even the articulation for her wrist is different. And as I've always mentioned before, when doing females and their hair, it's nice that it's sculpted, but it also is a lot better when it's more pliable. It's only a little bit pliable here, the rest is solid, so that hinders her movement of her head. So her head's on the ball joint, so she can turn left and right, and she can look down. She can't look up too much, like I said before, due to her hair. Shoulder articulation, single joint at the elbow with the swivel, so she has that elbow swivel movement there. Here's where it's different. The wrist articulation can rotate, but the actual pivot of the wrist, it does this kind of motion, which is kind of weird, because she really should have had the other articulation where her hands can be up in a claw, like attack pose. Same thing with this one. It just goes up and down, but it does not have that up, attack claw pose. This is how you get it, like this. So she should have had the articulation going the opposite way. Why they choose to go and use this wrist articulation on this figure, which obviously she uses her hands like claws, like Catwoman, I don't know. She does remind me a bit like Batgirl. So if you want to do an alternate version, an alternate universe, Barbara Gordon, here's your figure. She has articulation just below the chest. She has a loose karate belt, like Iron Fist. She can almost do the splits, swivel at the upper thigh, double knee articulation, no swivel at the boot. She has ankle articulation as well as pivot. And she comes with this staff, or the fighting sticks, which separate. These are the same sticks that will be coming with Daredevil. I might actually switch them because I like the black ones to go with Daredevil. It goes more with his costume. I know it's not comic book accurate, but it's just that, for the whole dark scheme type thing, I guess it's due for me watching the Daredevil Netflix show, which is awesome. I can't wait for season 2. So yeah, this stick thing here can combine and go into one, and it only seems to be able to fit in her right hand. It can fit in her left hand, but it's not too solid, so her left hand can just basically hold it in a position that you want to have, like when you're posing her, but it's the right hand that's really gonna get a good grip on it. She comes with, excuse me, I just put her here on the side rather than take her off camera for just yet. She comes with Thanos' head as well as his left hand. Now, I know a lot of people have said this, and so have I, is that he does not come, or she does not come with alternative hand or arm. Or I should say the next figure I'm going to show you should have came with that, because people were wondering why he didn't come like with the Infinity Glove. And short answer, they're saving that for when the movie comes out, the Infinity War. So that's probably why this Thanos does not have the glove, because they're saving that gimmick for when the big movie comes out. Now, on that note, the other figure we have here is Spider-Woman. She comes with the same thing that Hellcat comes with, which is the head and the arm. As I mentioned at the very beginning with the packaging, it's up to you. You can either get both of them. if you want to just have them both in the collection, seeing how they really, I think this might be the second Hellcat. No, they never did a Hellcat actually. I'm thinking of Tigra. So this is the first time they did Hellcat, but it's an updated version of Spider-Woman. So if you're a fan of both, you can get both. If you only want to get one, you have that option because they both come in the same Build-A-Figure piece. So Spider-Woman here comes, she has the same articulation as Hellcat, except for her wrists are done the way that Hellcat's should have been done, where she has this kind of like pivot in the right way. So if she wanted to, like, if she had claws, she actually can do the pose that Hellcat should have been able to do. The webbing underneath her arm, it fits into the peg here right underneath her bicep. I find mine a little bit loose at times just by touching it. As you saw, it can easily pop out. The head's on a ball joint like all of the Marvel Legends figures, but what I like about her is the fact that her hair is a little bit softer than Hellcat's, but not soft enough that it should be. It should be a little bit more softer. As I mentioned before, any of the females that have hair sculpted like this, it's always good when it's a little bit more pliable, because right now it kind of hinders her movement. Just due to the way it's sculpted, it allows her to turn a bit, but it kind of hinders the movement. So she does come in two sets of web wings, as they're called. The other set one is for when she has her arms down. So mine's a little stiff. And basically, like I showed you in the other, like with the actual open up wings, these ones can just fit on just like that. And you just place them in the biceps, and there you go. Or triceps, I should say, right underneath there. And there it looks like she has them folded up underneath her arms, because they're always ready for when he's jumping or jumping off of a building or something. She kind of opens them up, and then whenever she opens up her arms, that's where the web is to guide her down safely. The bodies are completely different from Hellcat to her. Like, she's got the new female body, and Hellcat's got the, I think there's two different versions of female bodies that Marvel Legends are using now. This is one of them, and this is the other one. As you can see, this is the difference. Even like in the upper part area, the upper area is the difference in the body, which is cool because not everybody's has the same body shape. Kind of like do the guys. You have like Hyperion, who's a lot bigger, and you have Captain America is a different body size from, say, like Batroc. The paint job on mine is really well done. I heard there'd been some paint smudges in some of the other figures. Me, I just have a little black paint on her chest right here, but nothing too visible that, you know, can be noticed unless you really look up close to it. Alright, so now we got the figures out of the way. Let's see the main figure that this whole series is all about here for the Thanos series, and that is Thanos. Alright, well, TCLs, that's it for the look at the figures. I know it's supposed to be a two-part, but it's actually going to be 2.0, 2.1. So check out 2.1 video for where I put together Thanos. Alright, like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, keep playing. And get Marvel Legend figures. They're awesome.